obviously with the looking at hindsight now in the last year, we can see that was a big success. So thank you. Next, Laura Ziegler. Good afternoon. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Laura Ziegler with the League of Minnesota Cities. We are a statewide organization representing over 830 cities across the state. I am here in opposition to Article 7, which is on page 94 of your bill, which the previous testifier just addressed. I know that the counties have similar concerns. And I will keep my comments very brief, Mr. Chair, since you stated there's a strong likelihood that this could be removed and conversations will occur elsewhere. But if that's not the case, I would be more than happy to provide additional information to the committee. So in short, when a wireless carrier comes to a city wanting to install some of their larger antennas on a water tower or city-owned property, the city will utilize, in most cases, almost all cases, we maybe have one or two cities that have structural engineers on staff. They will utilize a third-party contractor, an outside engineering firm, to conduct whether or not that structure is sound, among other variables, to hold that equipment. And so sometimes, as the previous testifier stated, it's above that $3,000 mark, which is sort of arbitrary, but most of the time it is below that $3,000 mark. And so what would happen is, if in those instances where they're applying and the study to assess whether or not that infrastructure can hold those antennas, that additional cost above that $3,000 cap would fall upon the city to pay for. So it's essentially a subsidy for the wireless providers as the bill is drafted. I'm here for any questions, but that's all for my comments today, Mr. Chair.
And Ms. Ziegler, is it fair to say that the opposition is not to the dollar amount, but the opposition is to the legislature specifying and taking away that local control of the amount?
Mr. Chair, yes, we are opposed to both the dollar amount and setting any dollar amount. In law, we would like to recoup our actual costs for those.
So it's not a matter of, like, if we just change the number, you guys would be in favor. So in case someone here thought this was easy. Those of us who lived through small cell remember this, so thank you. Questions, comments from members of the committee? Representative Dabney?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Ziegler, I'm looking at the language on 9410 to 9413, which is, I believe, the language you just referenced. And I must say this was the first time I've seen this language. But it strikes me that the language on 9410 and 11 says you only get to pass along the actual costs incurred. Okay. But then the language on 9412 and 13 says, but you can only charge $2,000. I see those as contradictory, because if the actual costs incurred is above $3,000, then what do? How am I doing?
The testifier.
Mr. Chair, Representative, you're totally tracking.
It's a good day. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. That's the final list of those who signed up for testimony in advance.